Welcome to Beyond the Ball, a very special episode. We have none other than the Mr. Bagsman himself. What a title. Charlie Austin. How you doing, mate?
I'm all good, boys. I'm actually glad I'm back now because I've been in New York, haven't I? I've been over there and the snow over... Listen, I know you get plenty of snow up there, but the snow over in New York was insane. So I'm glad to be back, chaps. I'm glad to be back, let's be honest.
What were you up to over there, Charlie?
So I was over there doing the Q.P.R. Wrexham watch-along game, and there's a girl called Lily that lives over in New York. She's only mid-20s, and she's just been diagnosed with cancer. So I did a big gathering for that, which was an amazing, like, for everybody to get there and support the club. Have been amazing. So, listen, I was over there for the weekend, bucket list stuff, really, top of the rock, did the beam stuff. I'm just playing the cards I'm dealt at the moment, boys.
Fantastic, mate. We totally appreciate you coming on to discuss everything regarding your career. We obviously try and emphasise what's going on in youth football and try and pick up on where we are, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to highlight, where things are failing. So we'd like your take on that. But what I think is a very interesting story from our point of view is how you went through your career at the very beginning and what happened. So can you take us away there, Charlie, and tell us about where did your football journey first begin, really?
Of course, but before I do that, like how I got to following the podcast first was because you come up through the reels, right, and through the algorithm stuff, and everything that used to was saying, I was just like, no, this is right. And then the next day, another clip would come up. The latest one I'd seen when I was just getting off the plane was and we'll get onto it, was the kids have an Instagram or a social media platform, right? We'll come on. But you know what I mean? Everything was rolling. Anyway, so my journey, I guess, I started playing when I was a boy, 5, 6, etc. Young lad, just playing.
Sure.
But I played every day, right? I was at the park with my cousins, with my older mates, etc. Say older, but they're like 8 or 9. And I just got into Grassroots. I played for Hungerford Town when I was under 8s, under 9s. I just you was told where to play. Like, and I think my first game was 11 aside. None of this 5-a-side, 3-a-side stuff. 11 aside. The kit was obviously 3 times too big, so it was obviously hanging down past the sleeves. Do you know what I mean? And it was just one of them. And I was half decent. I was better than what I was around my age. And then under 9s, I was offered a trial at Reading, and I went on a 6-week. Yeah, I went on a 6-week trial there, and they offered me a 2-year contract. But at that point,
at 9-year-old,
at 9 years old, but I could still play Grassroots. So there was no game.
Perfect. Yep.
Right.
We always refer back to that, Charlie, to say that the system change to the academy system was maybe to the detriment of some kids actually getting, I'm not saying getting into the system, but because they were able to play with their grassroots teams in Scotland in the old system, in what they called the S-form system, schoolboy form, then that was up to about the age of 14. So you were allowed to sign S-form, and it sort of changed at 14, 15 years of age, when I think there was a best v best programme and all the clubs came together. So I think in Scotland especially, they are now changing that to revert back. Not confirmed, or I think that is the thinking, without knowing exactly what the powers that be are actually going to implement. They will tell you about the academy structure changing in Scotland. They're removing the funding for the SFA school.
So Charlie, see when you were 9 years old and you were picked up by Reading, were you always a striker as soon as you started playing football? Did you always play up top?
Always.
And then,
the only time I ever changed was later on when I was about 14, 15, not in the academy system, but when I played in the county team, I played centre half. And that fella, Theo Walcott, played up front. So we played in the same county team. So I used to play at the back. We was route 1 straight over the top, and he was flying through.
So yeah. just getting back to your earliest memories, Charlie. What was the environment like in the sort of pitches and the coaching like at a very young age? And do you think that shaped you? Do you think that was important at that time?
Grassroots or academy?
Grassroots to start with, mate. Well, go both.
Well, grassroots, you've got to be honest, nothing's changed, right? There wasn't loads of coaches that we see. Listen, I've seen you speak there on it. There's loads of coaches that's out there. There was just dads who were coaching, right, when we were kids, and they were giving up their time, same as what parents are doing, the coaches now. There was no social media. There was no program that you could download, different coaching paths, etc. There was none of that. It was, we turn up, whatever he imagined in his head that we were going to do, we would do. And we would play a 20-minute game at the end, whether it was in a sports hall or whether it was at the rec, at Hungerford Rec. Like, that was it for an hour a week, and we would play. But, do you know what the thing is? For me, that hour was the fun. The training happened every day after school.
Superb.
That's when you was learning the dark arts and the different side of it and being kicked and just getting on with it.
The rough and tumble.
So, Charlie, see, I played up top as well. I don't see nowhere near your level. I got 2 bits of advice given to me as a striker, and the 2 bits were always let the centre-halves know you're even on the pitch. That was what my first bit of advice, and gamble. That was the only 2 bits of advice I ever got. This was like the 90s, early 2000s. What kind of advice were like I know you're saying that they were just dads, the coaches, but were you given any kind of information as a striker in the grassroots, not the academy system?
Yeah, in the grassroots, it was more of like, I think I was quite quick from 9 to 15, then rapidly lost that. Rapidly lost that. I definitely cold mornings. Like, you got to let them know they're in there. So the old, even I was about 9 years old, standing on little kids' toes and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it was just, that was it, and it was all my bit of advice was always just try and be confident. Just be confident when I played. And I was a confident young boy, and obviously I feel like I still am now. But whenever I played, whether it was in the tennis courts at school, whether it was at the park after school, Sunday morning, every time I played football, I just knew I was going to score. I just knew I had incredible self-belief as a young kid, for sure.
Where did that come from, Charlie?
I knew I was good.
Yeah.
In
comparison to your other players at grassroots level, in comparison to them.
No. How are you meant to part? Because this is the problem. You need to remember, we are in different cultures and different eras now, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to footballing, then you can almost be bullied because you were good, and the gap was there, and it was evident for people to see, and it could go against you. And I felt like at certain times in school, it definitely did, and that's why we. Can
you expand on that, buddy? Just to explain what you mean by that.
3 kids went on trial from my grassroots, and I got in, and the other 2s didn't. And rather than be applauded or patted on the back or anything like that, the 2 that didn't then like the schoolmates, and then it kind of come like a bit of an envy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make it, not make it, because you don't make it at 9, do you? Do you know what I mean? But
I understand there's a separation, isn't there?
Yeah, and it quickly come. And I'm only from Hungerford, a small town, and that's not exactly, we don't create footballers or anything. Footballers don't come from where we are, etc. You know, so it was one of them, and unfortunately at that time it wasn't great, but I still had incredible self-belief in me that I knew what I was going to do.
Did your dad play, Charlie? Did you have any siblings that played that were at a good level as well?
No, my dad played non-league, like a good non-league standard. He played up front. He was horrible centre forward, etc. And people would say to me like he was just an old-fashioned centre forward. So it was one of them. And my uncle, but here's a strange one for you. My uncle, Darren Angel, was phenomenal centre half and was with Alan Bohr down at Portsmouth. And he snapped his Achilles and never come back. But Darren Angel, my uncle, his brother is the centre forward, Brett Angel.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That was at Everton and Stockport.
Yeah.
Something in the genes here, Charlotte. Something in the
I
genes.
think that was the other. That's the other side. That was the other
side. So excellent, buddy. Just to finalise on the grassroots sort of thing. Do you remember what a coaching session looked like back in the day? at the Grassroots? What it looked like?
Not off the top of my head. But let me tell you, when I last couple of years I took my son training that, I can't remember any training sessions like what they was doing, etc. Because there wasn't this advertisement that we see. Like, let's be honest, you go on Instagram and there's different kind of training sessions and you nitpick little bits off there. Because if you didn't, nowadays as coaches, you'd be an arrogant idiot if you. Do you know what I mean? If you wasn't nitpicking off the best people there. So I can't really remember, but what I can say is the training sessions back then was nothing like what is on show now.
Do you think that maybe we're getting to a point where everything's become robotic, Charlie?
Premier League's robotic, mate.
Well, I know. This is what I'm about to say is, in your era, and we're going to get onto who you played with and against, right? I don't think we'll ever produce another Steven Gerrard in England. I don't think anyone's ever going to produce a Steven Gerrard, and I think that's because... Go on.
There's not a number 8 now. You've got there's a position for a 4, there's a 6, there's an 8, a 10. It used to be 4-4-2, and one of the 2 strikers dropped in the pocket when you didn't have the ball.
The big guy, small guy combo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I get the margins that coaches are trying to gain, small marginal gains and things like that, but they're reverting back to 4-4-2 now, some of them, because of the style of play and sort of getting advantages in certain areas of the pitch and stuff like that. It's going full cycle, and I think we've seen a cycle of these small intricate details that's occurring, and then changing up now back to the way it was in the olden days, let's call it, in the 90s and the 2000s. So it would be very interesting to see what it looks like now. When you say robotic, do you think that there should be a curriculum? This is just off topic, by the way, I just came to my head there. Do you think there should be a curriculum so that everybody is coached equally?
No, because I think we're all taught the same as a coach. Charlie, I don't know, have you been through your badges and that, mate, as well? So everyone gets taught the same on these UEFA licence courses, but we're not all the same, are we?
No, but neither are players.
But I don't think you should every player be the same. We don't want every player to be the same. We want them to be expressive.
100%. That is, we are all taught the same, right? We're taught the same, but we all think differently.
Yeah,
like, I'm on the courses, same as when you're going on the courses. We all have different ideas, but I look at it, it sounds stupid when I was going through my badges and people's explaining like their sessions, and I'm sat there, not as a coach, but I'm sat there listening to them like, this ain't going to work from a player's perspective. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, you're overcomplicating this. Like, what are you doing? I feel like when we say everyone needs to be coached in a certain degree, is that because we're trying to create one specific player, one specific person?
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't know about you, but my biggest thing is my kid, he's at Swindon, he plays in the academy, right? And they can head it. I could head it well. Heading's a skill, chaps.
I agree.
Yep.
Now, these kids that are not taught how to head it, this is where the problem's going to come when they're 14. Don't understand it. They're getting off the top of their bonds and that. Heading is a skill.
So, Charlie, we have... Sorry, mate, I don't mean to jump on you.
No, if it's taught properly, heading's a very good skill to have.
I agree. We have boys who work with us who came through the system at Rangers. Obviously, it's a top academy in Scotland and Europe in general. And that's what they said, is that when it came to heading, some of them would really struggle. On the floor, magic. But the games are always going to be played on the floor. And regardless, every part of the game is going to have an aerial side of it. It doesn't matter who you play against. Man City have went to humping it a 90-yard diagonal. Yeah. That's not long ball football, but it'd be called long ball if Bolton done it. Do you know what I mean?
I totally understand, right? Because I'm a big advocate for varying play.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. I like it.
If you've got Charlie Austin up top, you want to hit the striker.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I did watch your overlap with Kelly, Haley, and Christine, is it? So I watched that, but I saw Haley on the news about the recent report that was a contributor to Gordon McQueen's passing. So there is that counter to say, but everything's changed though, Charlie. The weight of the ball, how waterlogged it is, and things like that. So I'm sure that there'll be university studies happening as we speak regarding all these things.
And that is it. And ultimately, right, chaps, it's only our opinion. Like,
Yes.
and Hayley's got theirs because it's something's happened within their family, and there's loads of others that, and there is pros and cons, and there will be studies. Of course, there will be 100%. But
so it's exactly that is what you're saying, is that there's various ways of this actually coming to fruition. Can we coach it? Firstly, can we safely coach it? Because, as you say, it's a major part. You're not telling me that John Terry wasn't learning how to head the ball.
No, but the problem we've got is now.
That was one of his things.
But the problem we've got is now everyone goes back saying, "Oh, time's changed, game's moved on."
No. I don't think the game will ever change.
I'm going to counter that by saying the games went backwards because of the look at the long throws it's getting in the corners, it's getting set piece specialists.
Mate, Rory Delap done it, right, for Stoke, and it was slagged. And now Arteta does it, everyone's over the moon with it, thinking it's genius.
Rory Delap signed a new 5-year deal because he could launch the Q.P.R.
Charlie, I've got a question. This is off topic because we're going to go back to the youth side of it. I've just got one more question on it. Do you think in today's game, Charlie Austin plays every week for the top Premier League side, with the way the games went now, would it fit the model of how you played as a number 9?
If the way it's played now,
yeah,
absolutely. From 2018, when I kind of moved out, come out of the Prem, went back to West Brom 2019 time. From then, that period when it was pressing from the front, everyone was youth, athletic. You don't play me week in, week out. So now, yes. But a few years ago, right decision.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grassroots aside, and great experience for you back then. You said volunteers are plenty, dads giving up their time, etc. So you had your 2-year contract at Reading. What then happened? Back to Grassroots, and then what was your...
I stayed there. I was at Reading. I signed it under 9s till under 11s for 2 years. Then from under 11s, we then started playing games.
Okay.
So then I signed another 2 years to under 13. But under 12s at Reading, my manager was Brendan Rodgers.
Wow.
He was, Brendan Rodgers was our under 12s manager. And
you're a show off.
Do you know? Yeah,
name dropper.
A name dropper. Just absolute name dropping here. Sorry, chap. That's the only one I got until you start
cannot compete here.
So he was brilliant. He was our under 12s manager. He was obviously brilliant, real enthusiastic coach. We're only like 11-year-old kids, and this Northern Irish bloke shouting at us, but really enthusiastic, right? And that was that scenario. That kind of went through. Here's the thing that changed. I come back at under 15s. I know I'm skipping forward. I come back at under 15s, and everyone had grown, height-wise, physically, and that self-belief and that confidence that I said earlier on in the show, quickly from being off in the summer to coming back, vanished.
Why though, Charlie? Because if you were technically good enough, why did that physicality thing throw you off a bit?
Because technically inside the 18-yard box, I was good.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the box, I was still learning how to hold the ball up, get my body shape, what I know now to what I didn't know then, how to position my body when holding the ball up. It's not all about the tallest person, the widest person, the strongest person. I didn't know how to get my body in certain positions to protect the ball. And then the love of it, I just felt like, don't get me wrong, I used to get in the car, my dad, he'd say nothing. Positive, yes. Never negative. Do you know what I mean? That was never a conversation that happened. It would almost, you didn't do too well today, Char. And that was kind of it. So that, I never really got that drilling down from them. So that was that side of it. And then I just remember coming home one day from training, just saying to me mum and dad, I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do it. I'd gone. Mentally, I'd gone. Confidence had been completely drained out of it. And that was it. I just signed release forms with Reading, and they was happy for me to go. And then it was back to Grassroots. That was midway through year 10, so I was 14 at the time, yeah.
What did your mum and dad say? See, when you came home and said, listen, I don't want to do this anymore. What? Obviously, by listening to you just then, your dad was quite supportive of you still. He wasn't a hard parent in terms of, he wouldn't give you the good dogging after it. But
yeah.
What did your mum and dad say when you came home and said, I just don't want to do this anymore?
Are you sure? Are you definitely sure this is what you want to do? Mind you, we were doing Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, so travelling and all that kind of stuff. So it's tough for them, like it is parents now. Same with me and my wife now. A lot of countries, parents around the country, right? And they was like, "Are you sure?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I don't want to do it no more." And they was like, "Okay, we'll make a phone call tomorrow." But I think being a parent now and looking at it, they must have seen the confidence that I had to where I was having this conversation had completely gone.
So, Charlie, see if this happened to you now, because I think times have changed with parenting. I think, and you've played at the highest of levels, so this is a very different question to if I just asked another parent. But if your son came back from Swindon now and said, Dad, listen, I'm done with this, what's your answer to that? Is it a different approach to your mum and dad?
I see it differently, mate. And I'm not naive enough. If it happens, it happens. The dream is there, right? But he's 9. So the journey's what. But if it got to 10 and 11 and it wasn't it, and he come and said to me, look, this is not where I'm at. I think I can see. I have my beliefs that I can see in certain things of football. And if his reasoning was, I don't want to do it no more, I just don't want to do it anymore. I honestly think, for me, I would be in the position of what it would be. The question was why, and then if he kind of elaborated on it, and it was a confidence thing, he can't get going. I just don't want to do it. Then I would understand, but I'd still be a little bit frustrated because where I see him play, he's done so much at such an early age because he wants to. Let's be very clear. I ain't one to force him out in the garden. He's wanting me out in the garden. He wants to go training. So he wants to watch football. So for him to get to be in that position, I'll be like, oh, something drastically must be up.
So I shared something the other day about Thierry Henry, and he mentioned about his dad basically.
I see it.
Like it was lethal, mate. It wasn't nice. And when you listen to the interview, he's almost in tears. So that was going to be my next question to you is, obviously your dad played a good level non-league, right? And then your uncles obviously played at a good level also. Is it nature or nurture, Charlie, to get your boy or girl to the top of the game?
Oh, both. Oh, that's such a sit on the fence one. Here you go. I'm going to say this is why. Hunter, I didn't force him to play football, kick a ball, nothing. 6 years old, he's playing with dinosaurs. I'm thinking, shit, what am I going to do with my son, mate? Like, I'm a professional footballer. He's playing with dinosaurs. Like, this ain't right. So, not like that. But do you know what I mean? I didn't force anything. So anyway, we were over in Australia, and he just went to me, Dad, can we get a ball for the garden? I was like, yeah, right. Like, boys, when I'm telling you, I had it in my hands and I would just roll it back to him and he was toe bunging it back to me. Like, that's where we started. We're at 1.0, mate, here. This is where we're at. And then from that moment to where he is now, I guess it was inside him. Like, he had the bit, but he had to open that door, didn't he? Like, do you know? Yeah. So maybe it was inside him at first, but now that's down to him and what he's working on.
Maybe it just took a while for it to come out, you know, and express himself and understand and know who his dad was and know what his dad done, and then go, oh, I'd like a bit of that.
Here's prime example, chaps. Prime example. we went to Liverpool, Aston Villa a couple of years ago, and I took him to watch his first game. And he said, Dad, when you come here last time, where did you sit? And I was like, mate, I didn't. I was down there with everyone else playing. Do you know what I mean? That was it.
And the 18-yard box.
Yeah, mate, just float. My heat map was just going across the 18-yard box at both ends.
So, Charlie, last one before we move on to you, still keeping on the journey. And did your son know, I don't want this to come across arrogant, did your son know how good you were?
No.
And does he now?
No. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because he didn't see, chaps. Like you see on YouTube and like the clips like that, and I don't think he realised.
Doesn't he feel the moment? He wasn't in the moment. Yeah, I get that. I understand what you mean.
So I don't think it's like it was that one where he just that was the tough bit. So he don't. But I think I always put it down. I always say to him on there, and we'll probably. I always say, kid, you're under so much pressure, you don't even realise it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go back slightly? And I don't want to use Hunter as an example, but I'm going to. So Hunter maybe comes back and says, look, I'm struggling here, Dad. What can I do? I'm just, my head's not in it, etc. Then the conversation comes, and whatever that brings, do you think, as his dad, but also as Charlie Austin and being Charlie Austin, do you think you can convince him and help him to come round?
Well, I need to get into the situation of where this is coming from. So if we're talking electronics and phones and shite that he's seen on there, they're going, that's long down the line, right?
Yeah.
Like that ain't happening for a long time. These things, iPads and that's all right, certain things. But when the old phones come in, absolutely not. So I'd need to get into that situation of the why.
I just think parents look for every bit of help they can get for different situations, because you will have academy kids that are struggling just now, maybe on the verge of release. You'll have grassroots players that are intimidated to go into the academy system. There'll be
But chaps, I have to cut on that because my story, I come out at 15 and was very fortunate to get back. Parents need to hear this because it drives me nuts. If you get released from a club at 9, 15, it doesn't mean that's it. That's the end of the journey. And please remember, it's only 1, 2 or 3 people's opinion. There's 92 Football League clubs down in England, and however many there is up in Scotland, and how many other opportunities there is around the world. Just because you get released at a certain age, that doesn't mean that's it. I know in the moment your son or your daughter's dream is shattered, but pick them back up because it's only someone's opinion.
Yeah, I like that, mate.
That is profound. That statement there, mate. Honestly, that will go a long way, and that will hit a lot of people really hard. That because people that may be struggling with whatever situation they're in, them listening to you there, that will really hit home. So I appreciate you saying that, and I think everybody else will as well, buddy. So back to Brendan Rodgers just quickly there, right? So do you think you were being assessed during your time at Reading, right? Just as a youth player in the academy? And what were they looking for if that's the case? And do you think the conversation with your mum and dad when it came was sort of expected?
At the time, when knowing what I know now, absolutely they was assessing you. At the time, I was a kid playing at Reading. So I didn't look too deep into it. Right? We're only kids, aren't they? We're only kids at the end of the day. But so absolutely, they was assessing certain different scenarios of players. We was copying what not the first team, but it was from the under 18s, under 16s down. The whole academy played in a certain way. 18s copied like the first team. So absolutely, you was being assessed, and it was almost one of them. I'd like to think that, like I said before, my parents would have seen the confidence that I had, say 6 to 12 months before to where I was.
Yeah.
You see it, the gap goes, right? And I was just drifting away from the rest of the group, I guess. And it was, I expect, I have never asked him this, but I would expect he knew the question was coming at some stage.
Do you think a coach could have helped you in that situation regarding your body shape and movement and holding the ball up? Do you think a striker-specific bit of coaching could have helped?
Yeah, but I feel like it's dog. Let's cut the bullshit, chaps. It's dog eat dog, mate. And what kind of comes, right? It doesn't matter what age. When you're in that academy system, that's it. And what's the next day? Something else is hot. And I was going really well at a certain stage. Lad come in on trial that really liked, and they come in, and he was the next next best thing, right? That happens. There was no well-being stuff, and Reading didn't. Let's be very clear. Reading didn't do anything to me to affect me or anything like that, right? But it's just the way the game was back then. I needed time. I always go back to it. That wasn't my time. My time come later. My journey in the academy system was ready to stop where it was. Now, if you asked me, did you go to become a professional footballer on the journey you went on? Would you swap it? No chance. Now, if I was sat here with someone that had made it, had gone through the academy system, would they swap it? They would say no chance. My journey was set up the way it was, and that's how it was expected to be.
Charlie, I just want to know, when you were released, when you released at the time, we talked about it's not over. At the time, were you probably in that moment thinking that's maybe it done? Or did you think, I'm straight back in because I'm too good not to be playing at the highest of levels?
Yeah, well, I literally, chats, I come out on the Tuesday, I went and played Grassroots on the Sunday. I literally just went and signed straight away. And then so I played that season, it was fine. And then in the summer, Swindon asked me to go on trial there, which I was going okay in that. And Lucas Djukovic was playing up front then in the RA. He's the same age as me, Duke is. So he was playing. He was obviously the big thing at Swindon. And then I tore my cartilage in my knee at 15 playing a school match. And then so that trial ended, I had operations and all that. But I didn't think like that. That was it. I come back. The biggest thing for me, chaps, at 15, I would play men's football on a Saturday. Mind you, I'm a year 11 at school. I would play men's football on a Saturday, play under 16s on a Sunday, and play youth football on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I used to play for my stepdad's team, pub team, as 16-year-old. It's mental.
Yeah, that was my thingy. That was my learning thingy from men's football.
Yeah,
listen, it took
that's
about.
How you've got a curly toe. Honestly, mate.
It took me 3 games. 3 games for someone to kick me, and then it was game on them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Curly toe.
Sorry. He is. He's a duffer. Anyway, here's a controversial one, mate. Let's set this one up. Do clubs take enough responsibility for the emotional fallout of releasing teenagers?
Well, I think Crystal Palace are now have opened up a new door, haven't they? They've said they're going to be there for people, obviously, to go for that. And that's probably something that's... okay, the reaction to what that's got, that shows that they wasn't doing enough. Yeah. Because the reaction they got from that, oh, wow. And then it was a surprise in that, hang on a minute. So only Crystal Palace are doing that. Don't all the other clubs.
Can you explain that? What are they doing?
Well, they're saying when players are leaving, they're going to be there for them to nurture them back into grassroots or into everyday life, especially for the say senior, but the boys that don't get scholars, etc.
Yeah, the graduates as such that they don't make first team football. Yeah, because
all they've known, right, is playing football, and then when you come out of it, you're like, oh right, what am I going to do now? So they need another pathway, and I think what Crystal Palace are trying to set up, and hopefully a successful one, is going to be positive. But I don't think that's a surprising thing, and I think a lot of clubs rely on the PFA.
So, Charlie, I've got a question, and I've brought it up on previous episodes, but it'd be nice to hear your opinion on it. Do you think nowadays kids in general aren't as mentally resilient as what we were?
No chance.
But why?
I have kids. Why kids
is that?
As well. Why is that? Because when I wanted to go to someone's house, mate, to find out where my mate was, I had to get on my bike, knock on their door, and if they weren't in, that's it. Or I'd have to go and find them at the park. Now, on the phones, on the everything. I just feel for the majority, guys, everything's done for them. You want to do, as a parent, you want to give them everything, right?
Everything's organised, isn't it? Everything is organised. There's no chaos at all that they need to sort out.
No thought process, no thinking for themselves or anything like that. So I just feel like, and that is the world we live in, unfortunately, at the moment. Like we go wherever we wanted to, in the park or wherever, and there was no worries. But as parents now, you'd need to be round the corner almost.
Maybe a difficult question for you, buddy. I spoke about you on that overlap episode when you highlighted your ADHD.
This is not a difficult one.
Good. Okay. Happy with that. Do you think that you were potentially misunderstood within any situation of your footballing life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'd have come out and done my famous interview. Yeah.
That was all for the clicks, Charlie.
There you go. There's your point, Roger. Stop the podcast. Yeah, I think in certain scenarios you can say yes, but I see it completely different. I see it as a superpower. I see it as a strength. I don't see any of it as a negative. I really don't. In the way I was, the way I acted, I think I look at it and go, well, if I didn't have that, then would I have made it to there? Would I have made them decisions? Would I have been so focused on going every day, kicking the ball in the back of the net?
That's what I was going to say, Charlie, is do you think that's maybe a cause of the obsession for you to bounce back from 15 to make it pro because of ADHD? I think that's probably a thing, is the obsession.
Yeah, and that is it. And even as a pro, every day I do shooting after training, every day, because you get in that obsession. And I tell you what helped me, chaps, this is to be on topic, no doubt, but when I coached my grassroots team, and 5 of the kids had it, ADHD, and it was, and when I come out and said what I did, like the parents were like, oh, brilliant, like this is what happened, like this is my son, nobody can get. But this was further afield as well. People was like talking about it because I highlighted it. And the kids that I was coaching, I knew what made them tick, and I knew in certain scenarios when you can almost see it coming, if someone's seeing the red mist and they're going to come and smack, like you can almost prevent that from happening, right?
Yep.
You could. I used that again as a positive. I never used anything as a negative for any of the kids.
Also, when you're planning sessions for that, Charlie, I'd imagine that you are saying, I need to keep them busy because I know exactly what's going to go on. If there's any lull at any point, then we'll lose concentration, all that sort of stuff.
Chaps, I used to pump my kids once a week, mate. I used to pump them because I couldn't stop. You couldn't stop, right? So I wasn't technically gifted, right? Even when I'm doing the coaching and stuff like that, I wasn't technically, so I can't be doing all these skills and that. Because for me, great at a certain age, but when they go on that bigger pitch, someone's putting you up in the air, mate. So to get you out of a tight scenario, I'm fully with it. To get you out of trouble or something like that, that is part and parcel of it, and you need it. But when that pitch gets bigger, the best skill you can have is a touch pass, touch switch of play. Can you play it 1 touch? Can you play it 2 touch? Know when to do it, right? So my sessions, I try and do it in a smaller version of 1v1s, 2v2s. You had to make certain passes, but it was continuous. And then when these kids used to come off, mate, the face cherry red, mate, when they've been blowing. But that.
So Charlie, we do on a Wednesday last night. It's probably our top group session of our week. It's the older kids. I say older, they're 10, 11. But they're the highest of quality in the area. They are unbelievable, some of these boys we've got in. What we try and do is, last night we split them into 3 groups, and it was all 1v1 based. And we had a facing up one, a back to goal one, a side on receive one. But we made the pitch tiny, so there was nowhere to hide. Is that something that you would encourage as a coach, but you think is beneficial as a player, talking from a player's point of view? So there's no room really to truly make a bad touch because you'll be eaten alive off the defender. But we always think that it really helps in developing the player's decision-making in tight areas.
No, of course it does. Of course it does. And when you're receiving the ball, the facing up bit, definitely, if you're going 1v1, there's no hiding. You're receiving the ball now. You've got to beat your man, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's middle of the pitch. You got it receiving on the side. We're talking wingers. Where's your first touch taking it? Does it take you down the lines? Does it take you back inside? I'm fully with you. Big thing for me is receiving it with back to goal. You've got defender on your backside, right? Can you make certain movements? Can you get your body in a position where the defender can't not see the ball but can't reach the ball? That's the one thing I would go on that bit is it needs to be taught, and all 3 are different teaching elements, aren't they?
Yeah.
For me, how you receive, but the biggest one is how you receive the ball, whereas you're a wide man receiving it, or when you're receiving it with your back to goal. Now, you don't stand straight receiving the ball, defender up your backside. You can come around and get it. So it's going side on, different bits. So definitely it's, and that, them 3 groups that you've done it in, that's something that can be worked on at all ages.
I agree.
Just because we're talking about you doing it with top kids at 11 and 12.
Yep.
If you've got a group of 18-year-olds in there, that session works. If you've got a first team environment in there, that works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's how we always base it. That was just to see if you think that it'd be beneficial. But we do, every session we do is almost mirrored with age and stage. It'll just be brought down a level if they're new to the game, and if they're really advanced players, we'll add more detail in, and the intensity will go up naturally. Or maybe even add a defender in as a 2v1 in favour of the defenders. But it was just to get your opinion on that, really.
I would love to get you to video a wee masterclass of holding the ball in as well, buddy.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal. That would hit really, really, really well. But
I've got to be honest with you, chaps.
Stop huffing and puffing, by the way. Stop that, you.
That wasn't my strength. 80-yard box, putting that size 5 in that onion bag, I was all right.
Get that held up. Get that held up. Right. So we've had the academy. What happened? Where did you go? What happened? I think your parents moved to Poole, something like that?
Yeah, they moved down to Poole when I was 18. Now, I'm from Hungerford. Everyone knew everyone. They moved down there. I stayed up here for a summer, and I was like, I ain't going down there. Like, for work up here, I carry the odds. I'm not doing that. I'm getting like 350 like working. I was earning 30 quid playing footy, so that was like beer token. And then I went down there one week, and they was like, "Oh, just go and try at Poole Town. Just go and try." So I went one training session. It was fine. The manager, Tom Killick, was there. He was a good friend of mine, still is now. And one of the lads was like, "Oh, we're going out tonight if you fancy it." I was like, "Yeah, right." Went out on a Thursday night. Fantastic. And then ended up staying down there. And here you go. I just took the football more seriously. When I was up here playing, for the first couple of years, I was out every Friday night, Saturday, play Sunday morning, out Saturday afternoon, and go back to work. But the difference thing was, when I went down there, I didn't go out as much on a Friday. So then when I was playing on a Saturday, everything just worked. I just had a season that I didn't believe that could happen. Did I think that I had it in me to play? Of course. But
did you think you had it in you to play in the Premier League, Charlie?
At that age?
At the age of 18?
No. Well,
no.
If you said football league, I would have said no. No, if you said
it's just when you said before, as a youth player, you said you had so much self-confidence, and then when you got into being a man, that seemed to have been not taken out of you. I don't want to say it because you seem a confident guy, but I mean, maybe not. You didn't believe in your own ability as a football player to hit the top level.
Yeah, that's it. But I had the confidence to say I'm a good non-league player.
Like
after the year that I had in the Wessex League for Poole, when I scored the goals I did, I was like, I can earn a few quid playing in non-league. The turning point, though, chaps, was in the summer of the following season, we played Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth used to go around the local areas and play, get the money in, right, for the local clubs. And I scored against Bournemouth and battered Jason Pearce for 45 minutes. I battered him. And then 2 days later, they called me in for, asked me to go on trial at Bournemouth through pre-season. But I was very lucky, right? Because I worked for my dad carrying the odds. So he was like, just go and do it, son. Just go and do it. Just go and do it. And I always say, if I didn't have them 6 weeks pre-season at Bournemouth, then I wouldn't have been able to hit the ground running like I did at Swindon.
And Charlie, do you believe, we talk about luck, and it's such an important word in football, right? Do you think you create your own luck?
Yeah, absolutely.
So rather than it just landing on your doorstep, do you think you create an opportunity for yourself?
To an extent.
You've got to have a set of balls, though, chaps.
Yep.
You've got to have courage. You've got to have all that belief,
confidence. Yep.
You've got to have. So you create your own luck, of course you do, but you've got to have that self-belief in that bit. And I think from when I look back to where I was when I was younger to that period when I come away from rejection at Bournemouth because they couldn't sign me for financial reasons, my petrol gauge certainly come up on the belief side for sure.
So what happened after the Bournemouth thing, Charlie? Tell us about that.
So they couldn't sign me because of transfer embargo.
Right, okay.
And then I went back. I was still playing at Poole Town at the time when I was training. But now I was now I was fit and I was 4 or 5 steps ahead of everyone in the league. I think I had 18 goals in like 11 games. I went to Swindon on trial, and we played Swansea, and I scored in the trial then. And I didn't hear nothing back for like a couple of days. And then they rang me and said, look, we want you to sign. I was just like, fucking hell. I was with me. Obviously with my wife then. It was my wife now. I was with her. We was first together, and the phone call come. And then they was arguing over how much the transfer fee was going. I was like, £4 step 5. What do you mean transfer fee? But listen, it got done in the end. But I remember playing my last game for Paul. Right, we played Moneyfields, was team down in Portsmouth, and we beat them 6-1. We went 1-0 down. And then we had this old bloke playing for us, Taffy Richardson, lovely fella, right? And he was like, Charlie, we're going to be here next week, even if you fucking you need to get on with it. I'll just turn it on. Scored 5. I come off, and the manager from the other team started going mad, saying we was cheating because they knew I was going to sign for Swindon on a Monday.
Brilliant story. Just last on that. See, when you went into Bournemouth on trial, you're 18. Was there I know you've got confidence. Was there a wee bit of intimidation? Was the players better technically?
No, they weren't better. They was just shitty old pros, chaps. No.
No, that goes a long way, because see, the youngsters coming in, they should have that belief to go, I'm going to, and Gerrard talks about it, I'm going to push you out the way.
They would. I mean this now, right? There was a group of them. Now, he's up there. He's a top fellow of mine. Come to my wedding. I still speak to him a lot. Marvin Bartley.
Oh, aye, big mouth.
I'm good friends with Marv.
I see him on the telly, mate. I don't know him.
Yeah, but he's a good guy, good footballing guy, right? Nice fella. But he come through like non-league, etc. as well. So it was like a handful of people that was there at Bournemouth that had come through like the non-league stage. So they knew what we'd obviously been through to get to the opportunity. But then there was others that were arrogant and having themselves. And knowing what I know now to what I knew then, I'm like, you played for Bournemouth, mate, in League Two. And the way you're acting, you played like you did 150 games in the Prem, like turn it right in.
Yeah.
So for me, they was just shitty old pros, mate.
And would they leave bits in on you, Charlie, and training them?
Yeah, but it was more vocal. It was more vocal, etc. Do you know what I mean? But I had that confidence then that I was there. And when I went into Swindon, etc., and Cy Ferry comes out of it, he said I come in there, I was like Jimmy Grimble when I used to go. I went in there with a pair of Copas and World Cup chaps.
Brilliant.
Who was the manager at Swindon, Charlie?
Danny Wilson. He was
right.
He was top. Yeah, I was sold on before Di Canio's madness come in.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Okay, mate. That's brilliant. Your career, fantastic. We obviously, it's well documented what you've done in your career, Championship and Premiership. It was more to guide us along the youth pathway and tell us what's going on. So, looking back, what is the biggest flaw in the youth development pathway? Come on, be controversial, because it's got to be.
It's Charlie Austin, it will be.
Yeah, but no, let's cut it. Let's cut all this out. To be a footballer, you've got all the stuff, but you've still got to be obsessed. So different activities. I'm all for kids being kids, etc., etc. But you've got to be obsessed, because if you look at the elite kids that are at Cat 1s at the top end of the academy system, and clubs that say Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, them kids are every night training. The obsession. Now, I get the other bit, it's the kids, it's the kid. That's no problem, but it's still dog eat dog. And if there's a gap in the team or a gap in any team, grassroots, academies, whatever it is, that's only going to get bigger, because if you've got 4 of the lads at it 5 out of 7 nights a week playing, doing football, and then you've got the others doing it 2 or 3 times, there's going to be a gap. I see that you said it before, right? I think it was a couple of months ago. It was a perfect analogy when you said about reading at school.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If your kids read 5 days a week and the kids only read 2 days a week, of course they're going to be better than the kids that are doing it all the time.
You use the swimming stuff, don't you?
I say swimming all the time. I think because it's football, Charlie, it's the UK's #1 sport. Everyone's got an opinion on it, and then very little of them have actually played at a decent standard, but we still have an opinion on it because we watch it every day. But if I was a decent swimmer and Tam was shite at it, Tam doesn't get picked, but I do. That's just a fact, mate. That's like in not even just football, in every walk of life, a job interview, it's the exact same thing. It's no different. During your academy journey, was there anyone that you came through before you got released, say at 15, or you left, sorry, was there anyone who was incredible but never went on to the highest levels that you could think of?
Yeah, and this is this is to all the parents that go out there and everyone that's trying to create a perfect winger or a perfect centre half. We had a fella called Johnny Fletcher that played centre half at Reading Academy. Didn't make it, he had knee injury in the end. Like he was about 16, 17. Let me tell you, he was the ready-made centre half. He was the best. He was the standout. And he was a centre half. Not technically, because that wasn't like where it was. But you wanted someone to put your body on the line, be strong, head it, kick it, make tackles. Johnny Fletcher for me. And also, chaps, all through Reading, at the whole time, there's only 3 players that made it from my bit. Was James Henry, Alex Pearce, and Simon Church. And by the time they got to under 18s, my whole age group had left and they'd brought in all new players.
Wow.
So do you think, Charlie, that the system is currently correct? We'll go into some of the players that you've played with, because I played against John Paul McGovern and Jamie Smith, a very good Celtic team at under 15 level. Ryan Robinson.
I played with JP at Swindon Town.
Yeah.
What a guy.
And great guy. Don't know him personally, played against him, but he was a right winger at the time.
Yeah.
And Jamie Smith was up top, but he got Champions League games with Celtic, Jamie Smith. And Brian McColligan, he played centre midfield, and there was guys that get in the Celtic first team, and I was playing against them at grassroots level. The Celtic Boys Club had a team, and they were phenomenal. They were absolutely phenomenal. But we played on a public pitch, and there was that merge. So I can't remember what I was talking about there, actually. Is the system right?
Yeah.
Is the system right? Currently, is the system right? Sorry for digressing.
There's pros and cons, right? There's pros and cons. It's wherever you look at it. And as I look at it at the moment, and mind you, chaps, I'm only from emerging talent, say last year to here. So I'm only 18 months in it. And can I see any flaws in it at the moment from my own personal point of view? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because unfortunately for me, I see it from, I struggle not to see it from the footballer side and what it means and what it takes to get to the top. But I just feel like the way the academy system is, I feel like you can be tighter. I think they need to be tighter on the certain circumference of areas, especially down here with Swindon. The amount of boys that are from the Swindon area that have gone to Cardiff, that have gone to Bristol City, Bristol Rovers, Oxford, Southampton. They've chose them over Swindon. Mm-hmm. I just feel like maybe at a certain age, even if you said that was to 9 to 12 or whatever, but there's got to be something where you're playing for that club's on your doorstep.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that, Charlie, because they're looking for the next asset. The clubs are looking for the next asset. The scouts looking for that hidden gem. And if he can pick that from somewhere 200 miles away, and they think, oh, this is going to be an absolute cracker, we'll move.
Yeah, but you can't tell me that. What age are we talking though, Tam?
Exactly. Because there's players getting in at 6-year-old into these clubs at pre-academy and
that's
going.
That's what I'm saying.
How can you tell they're going to be an asset?
Do you think? Here you go. Do you think that? You know when I said about the academy, I didn't play games to under 11, and you said it was the same up there, didn't you? I'm pretty sure you said it was a certain age with the Scottish boys. Do clubs then decide that they scrap it until 12 and then they come in? Because my argument to it is, they're only going to get younger. Like, we're talking 6 years old, chaps. That's year one at school. Let's not take the piss. That's year one.
Still sleeping with a teddy, Charlie. Still sleeping with a teddy, mate. And the kids?
Of course they are. And waking up in the middle of the night going in mum and dad's bed.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we then fix that? Do we put rules and regulations together to say, look, it must be within a, 40 mile radius of something like that?
For a certain age, For sure, for a certain age, definitely. And I just feel that there's got to be that bit, mate. Even if it was like to secondary school, which is what is that under 12s, maybe I think. There's got to be something where it's just we let them, it's letting them be kids, right? Which is fine, and having that obsession, but also you've got to realise that they are kids. They are kids to a degree.
Sticking on that topic, Charlie, in terms of scouting, what would you change if it was Charlie Austin's in charge of it? What are you changing with scouting now then?
You've got to be open.
Would you not change it? Would you leave it?
This is the difficult question, right? And for my opinion is because if we're scouting like 6, 7, 8-year-olds, say for argument's sake, and you see them, oh, they're technically good, or they do good strikes for the ball. Like, and then you put them into certain positions, right? And you think, oh, it could be a centre half, or it could be a fullback, whatever it is, centre forward. I think it's almost the way I see it is your eye's your best thing, right? If you believe and you trust in if you trust, because you two do the podcast, right? If you trust and believe what you're saying and what you delivered, like last night in them sessions, you two think you delivered a top session last night, right? And give the kids the best opportunity, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that you won't see you can't see a good player when you see one, or you can't see at the moment of their journey that they're not right there yet. So for me, I don't see much in change of it, because if you actually believe in your eye and you've got credit in the bank for what you deliver and what you see and what you say, why would you change it?
No, you're right.
Do you think so scouting's a thing, and I believe that it's probably too easy for people to become scouts, to be brutally honest.
Of course it is.
Yeah, because you do a couple of courses and that's you qualified. All of a sudden, then we look at the coaching side of things. So if we look at the coaching side of things, should we educate the dads more for free that's taking these grassroots teams to give everybody a better chance, let's call it?
1,000,000%. You can't ask someone, right? Dad, mum, whatever it is, that graft all week in their day job, and then ask them for the financial, what the FA are. Oh, I don't know what the Scottish FA are charging up there. The FA
too much. Here. That's what they're charging.
No, but that's what I'm getting. That's what you can't. That's what I'm saying. You can't. Ask
Every
them.
bit of help is appreciated, isn't it? Every bit of help is appreciated.
No,
so
you can't ask them, mate. You can't ask them, chaps, for me to say, right, out of your own pocket to go and pay to basically give up your own free time, what you're doing for a group of kids anyway, and then to pay for it. It's a load of shite.
Well, that's another thing that we've spoken about this before, and we're going to dig in a wee bit deeper regarding the coaching pathway to just lay it all out exactly what's got to happen for everybody to go through these loopholes later on. But if you were to look at it, everything's in a locked up mentality, so you don't get
football's
access.
A closed shop, chaps.
Yeah,
football's a closed shop.
But even to the resources, I know it is definitely, but you see, to get the PowerPoints that they're delivering on these courses, you need to have done the course to get there. And why are we not giving these resources to see if somebody that thinks I could maybe do with a wee hand here, I could get that, but to do it correctly. But they're looking at Instagram and making up their own session, and is that right? Is that, well, that might be right for that group, and there's things like that just annoy me. That's all wrong with
Charlie,
it.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left, right? So I want to get some quick fires in, but stay on topic still, because there's still loads I need to ask you. So
sorry,
Charlie,
I can only apologise. I can't have a good waffle, you know. I can't have a good waffle.
No, it's been brilliant. Mate. You don't talk away. Everyone's sick of our voice anyway, man. Right, in Charlie Austin's opinion, quick fire question: what makes a good football coach?
The way they treat the players. You got to get the connection with the players. The connection, it's a triangle. Connection with the players, connection with the parents makes it. If you've got them believing in you, that's enough.
Okay, and then onto Premier League, into your pro days. Who was the best defender you came up against?
I obviously played with and against him, but so I can't really want to say him. John Terry.
What made that so difficult, Charlie?
Chaps, I've got to be honest with you, and you've heard it loads of times, right? He does not get enough credit for how good he was. You can see why he was England captain, Chelsea captain for so many, right and left foot, head. John Terry by a country mile, man.
What separated him, do you think? What did he do to become that good, Charlie? Do you think he was born with it? Did he work like an animal to get there? Obsession.
Animal, gym work, be the best, do everything that you could to become give himself the best opportunity to become.
Yeah, give yourself the best chance. Yeah.
Who's the best player you've ever played against overall, technically?
I have to almost do this in two parts, right?
Because
obviously I played against Prime Hazard.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, De Bruyne wasn't there. Then De Bruyne comes at like 16, 17. But then Salah, Firmino, Hazard then was
it's a top, wasn't he?
Electric. And then obviously Zlatan and Pogba when they cut. I'm just dropping names here out the chat here all over the shop.
You keep going, me.
Tag them. Tag them while you're clipping this.
Hazard and David Silva to start, and then Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah at the back end of it. Yeah.
Jeez.
Charlie, is there anything in your career? Now, you said you were happy with the journey, right? And I respect that. Is there anything you wish you'd achieved in your career more, maybe?
Yeah.
That you think was in your grasp as well?
It was in my grasp, mate. It was like there, 99%. One regret I have in my career is I didn't get an England cap. I got an England call-up and I had a 2-week training camp.
That's right.
But I look back and think, if I got an England cap, I completed it, mate. If I represented my country, I completed it. I don't care what you say. I completed it.
I agree. Charlie, you were linked with massive clubs as well, right?
Yeah.
I remember that in your prime. You were linked with massive clubs.
Newcastle, but I think Q.P.R. wanted 15 million at the time and I had a year left. And I wanted to go because the number 9 shirt was Alan Shearer's, my hero. And it just didn't materialise. Listen, that's football, right? That's football. And I do look back a couple of times and think, do you know what? What a journey. What a journey.
Last 2 questions. The best technical goal you ever scored? I'm going to ask you another question though about goals. So technical goal that you scored.
The best technical goal I scored has to be the one at Q.P.R. versus Southampton. It comes from Junior Hoylett, right side of the box. I've got my back to goal and somehow I control it with my right foot up there and swing and hit with my left. Never be able to replicate it again. Best technical goal I scored. Never asked me to replicate it again. Never. So that is it. I told you I wasn't a technical player, chap.
I know that, mate. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that because I remember the goal. I remember it. And lastly, the most important goal that you ever scored. I know they're all important because you want that win bonus, don't you?
Yeah.
Charlie's on the goal bonus, that's why. Aye. Especially at QPR.
My second goal, most important, there's 2, okay? The playoff semi-final at home, Wigan, I scored in extra time to make it go 2-1 up. Mm-hmm. Then that was, and then my third against West Brom for QPR in the Premier League to score my first Premier League hat-trick. It was a header in the 86th minute, and that was just, I don't know, that was special, man.
What a feeling. What a feeling that
Charlie, I've got one more, right? And we will end on this because...
we'll be here forever.
I know, mate. I would like to keep talking, to be honest.
I'll bring a sleeping bag next week. Charlie, what's the best bit of advice you can give to a youth player, please? For listeners, there's going to be so many families listening to this and players. Can you just give us, to finish us off, one bit of advice for the youth player?
Well, I said it earlier on, right? So hopefully it don't get lost when I said it earlier. Because someone's opinion, my best bit of advice, because someone's opinion at this moment in time is not for you and you're not their player, that's not a give up, and that's just because one door's shut doesn't mean there's not 100 more that can be open. Never give up. And also, when you go across that white line, whether it's training or whether it's a game, you maximize your effort at 100% because you never actually know who is watching, who is walking their dog. It don't matter if you're playing on a bumpy old common grassroots pitch or a flat track at Academy Cat 1. You never know who is watching and whose eye you might catch because you're tenacious in running back to make a last-ditch tackle, to run the length of the pitch to get and make a slide tackle, to run the length of the pitch to go and score a last-minute tap-in. You just never know. So it's as easy as it says. It's 100% every time you go across that white line.
That's great, mate.
Charlie, we're going to wrap it up there, and thank you so much for everything you've given us this morning, and I hope we can maybe build on this, and maybe we'll do something else again, because I think we could dig a wee bit deeper every now and again. And
we may have to do a couple of parters, chaps, eh? We may have to do
exactly.
couple of months, we have to do a couple of parters, eh?
Maybe over a couple of beers as well.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Yeah, why not?
So, Charlie Austin, thank you very much. We're going to ask you just to stay on for a couple of minutes, mate, just so that we can get this uploaded. But thank you so much. It is so much appreciated, and it will go a long way to helping parents, coaches and players that are trying to make their way in the game at the moment. So thank you so much, mate.